Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's Tuesday, the 22nd of September. It's proclamation news and governance. With the peasant, prodigious, prominent Professor Johnson. Thank you all for coming through this morning. I really appreciate it, ladies and gents. If you're coming through, please subscribe. Are you suffering from mental health? It's evaluation time. COVID 19, are you suffering from mental health? You can't go out, you can't meet your friends, you can't go drinking on the weekend. Really, think about it. Are you suffering from mental health? There's so much to do, isn't there? COVID 19. You don't need to go down a pub, do you? Going down a pub doesn't help your mental health, help your mental status, does it? Really, COVID 19 should be evaluation time. Think where you want to be in life. Better yourself. You know, you're sitting there, you've got children, but you want to go out with your friends at the weekend. That's not good for your mental health, is it? This really is time to think about changing your lifestyle. This impact to society really should be bettering ourselves. Let's think about the good COVID 19, the restrictions given us. It's giving you time to re-evaluate yourself, stopping people from being stupid on narcotics, alcohol perhaps. Really, people don't like listening to the truth. People don't like listening to the facts. COVID 19, oh, makes me all distraught, make me moody, I can't do this, can't do that. You may have lost your job. You may have lost your job. Big deal. Big deal. You still get food. You still get food. You still got water. I'm talking to a man that's lost everything. I lost everything. I had everything. I lost everything. I'm still smiling. Every day when I lost something, I kicked the curb a few times. My head felt like, my brain felt like it's banging from wall to wall inside my cranium. But let me tell you, I knew there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And I knew I've still got more to gain in life. And today I'm sitting here, more wiser than I was 3 years ago. More content in life than I was 3 years ago. My brain is more functional than it was 3 years ago. So there's always, don't give up in life. Don't think you're failing. Don't think COVID 19 is ruining your life. I can't go down the pub. I can't socialise with my friends. I live on my own. I don't have family. I don't have kids to talk to. I wake up on my own. I don't sit here crying about COVID all over my social media. Oh, I can't do this, can't do that. I'm sat indoors every day of my life. It don't bother me. I'm quite happy with my own surroundings, giving people, I talk on my radio. I've got Castbox on my YouTube. People give me a bit of encouragement and listen in. It's quite nice. I appreciate it. I'm not knocking that. I'm just knocking the people that come away from here and they're whinging. COVID 19 is ruining my life. I can't do shit. There's some people out there. I always look at myself. I'm a little bit disabled, not fully. I can do stuff. I can go to the shop. I can get a bus and walk around a few shops in town and stuff. I can't walk that far. Walking, I've never been able to do. No matter how fit I've been in my life, I've never been able to walk because it hurts my knees, it hurts my ankles. But I can. I used to be able to run very, very far. I was a very, very fit athlete at my age. But Raynaud's disease is one of them things you can't stand still. It tackles your lower spine, your knees. Walking is a big, big thing that can affect anyone with secondary Raynaud's disease. It's almost like sickle cell. Look at the symptoms of sickle cell. It affects your lower back. It affects your feet. But I'm not sitting here to get violins, but I'm sitting here to let you guys know that you're sitting suffering through COVID 19. So are we all. We all are. I enjoy it. I enjoy it because I think I can do more reading. I can educate myself better than what it was yesterday. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, becoming populism on Castbox. More people, listeners coming in. More people interacting. Imagine how the NHS feel, the police feel at the moment. Security guards in superstores. You've got you lot going in superstores moaning. I see someone post on Facebook, someone in Clacton went into the bank, HSBC I think it was, went into the bank, a lady behind the counter said, I can't serve you, you ain't got a COVID mask on. This guy said, I'm taking all the cash behind the counter apparently, this guy said. The lady behind him got the and told him what for. There's no need for these people. You get asked to put a COVID mask on, you can't get served. What's your fault you didn't take a COVID mask? Happens to me in the shop. It's happened to me before. They shouldn't really be stopping you or questioning you, but it's their shop. They work there. They have the right to protect themselves. When you go to the shop or go out, wash your hands, put a mask on, not for the safety of yourself, for the safety of others. People think, if you're exempt, you're exempt, but not everyone knows you're exempt. So if you get asked a question, just say, yeah, I'm exempt. Don't be, don't, don't be narky or abruptive. There's no need for it. Discrimination, absolute discrimination. As soon as you lower the tone, no need for it. It's not big and it ain't clever. Anyway, ladies and gents, we're going to go into, first of all, I just want to let you know, I'm sponsored by O2 providers. And the reason why I'm sponsored by O2 providers is because I've had all networks. I've had O2, I've had T-Mobile, I've had Free. Tesco's, I'm just picking out. I don't think Tesco's is that big, to be honest. Yeah, they're probably new. They're probably building up their network, network coverage, 4G or whatever. I don't know. I don't know enough about um, Tesco's. I can't vouch for that. But the other networks, let me tell you, O2 providers have got the best network coverage over the UK. Everywhere I take my phone, always got full coverage. It's important to have full coverage because someone like me, if I'm in London, I don't know where I'm going. I get lost and I panic. So yeah, O2 providers is very, very beneficial to swap over. They're quite reasonable on the phone as well. I missed a month, but I've been catching up payments. A lot of phone companies will cut your phone off. Even so, I can pay an extra five just to catch up, but they've been quite good to me actually, and they've helped me get my first laptop which got me in university. So I'm so thankful for O2 providers to get me where I am today. Um, Anyone else thinking about changing over network? Hello there, Echo Open to Life. Thank you very much for coming through. O2 providers, and you can get a mobile phone device. I had a YE phone. It's one of the cheapest. I've got an iPhone 11 as well now, but I've got a YE phone when I first got the phone. It's one of the cheapest ones on the market. I paid out £35 a month. Unlimited broadband, unlimited texts, phone calls. I can't remember, but I don't use phone many people. But I've got a YE iPad as well for 50 quid. Pay £50 up front. It's 12 months contract, but you don't have to keep the 12-month contract. You can cancel after you pay your £50 a month, which I did. I cancelled it. I've had that iPad ever since. So I can use all three devices. Four devices, because I've got a laptop and two phones and their thing. So I can do my Castbox, I can do my YouTube, and I could do a podcast on there as well if I wanted to. It's very, very beneficial to have more than one device when it comes to modern technology. Come to getting your voice heard. If you want to be practice being a motivational speaker, or something like in sports. Say if you want to be a motivational speaker in sports, kids need prompting, don't they? Kids need prompting. Youth for today need prompting. They need a bit of, a bit of wisdom. There's something that gives them that extra push, that extra mile. It's good to get on the mic. It's good to get on the radio. Get your voice heard. Tell them how you did it. Your voice is worth, your knowledge and your wisdom and your legacy that you've left. Whatever it is, if it's reading, whatever you like doing, getting your voice heard. Telling people how you got there. Tell them about your path. It's very important for the youth today. I mean, you hear me talk about anexphobia. Hear me talking about Islamophobia. Hear me talk about fascism. In every race, trying to keep a community in a straight, narrow mind, without any fascism statements, without any fascism thoughts. When there's a fight outbreaks, it could be all, against all different race, but not over race, but for the fact he stole his phone or the fact he stole his girlfriend. So you just got to be careful how you tackle things in society. That's what I'm saying. Use your knowledge, because you could cause yourself mayhem. Could cause yourself a gang war, perhaps. And your children, you want to bring them up in the best possible way, and that's exactly what I want to do. Even if I don't see them, they can hear my voice. Their family, they're my friends, can pass on my wise words. So this is what I'm going to be doing. I enjoy it. Anyway, ladies and gents, thank you so much for coming through. Usually bona fide conservatism, but again, I'm mixing it up. We've got S&P. I think we've got Sir Keir Starmer in the mix of the formation of the UK politics today. What's going going on, talking about new lockdown rules are coming into play because we're on level 4 of COVID alert. COVID alert, level 4 COVID alert. It was in level 3, now we're going up to level 4. Pubs are going to shut an hour earlier. Well, don't, like I said, really, is that hour earlier can make any difference? You know, the COVID measures ain't going to low, they're going to go up. And to make it easier for policing, they should just shut it anyway. Stop the police from finding people, groups of more than 6. It's going to stop everything. It should just shut the pubs, make it easier. I know it's unfair for the breweries, but they're going to have to start paying them their full wage, perhaps, or something. I don't know. They're going to have to sort something out there so the breweries can shut. I know everyone wants to get back to reality because you're sitting there, or everything's shutting down, waiting for it to all stop and go back to normal. So you're getting anxious when you get back to work. But at the same time, you're enjoying the time off work, aren't you? Anyway, ladies and gents, when they do shut your businesses down through COVID, it gives you a bit of a space to think, what can I do better? You know, what can I do better in my work to better my business? Every time I have a couple of days off, I think, how can I have a better radio cast? How can I get more people to interact? What would make it more interesting for the people to listen in? You know, we've all got different ideas, haven't we? You know, and every job, like yours, something that's going to benefit you. Something's going to benefit your business. How can I get more business cards out? Social media, maybe, perhaps. Maybe hitting the newspapers. Do people read the newspaper nowadays? Everything's digital, isn't it? A lot of things are digital. A lot of people use digital nowadays. But a lot of workers, they do. A lot of people that working class people, that buy the newspaper because it's on the go. Looking at your phone, looking at news, it ain't quite the same as looking through a laptop or an iPad. Anyway, ladies and gents, going to go into a bit of criminology. Criminology. You know, I like criminology. I've been reading it off my own behalf. I like a bit of criminology. And this is close to home. Cash reward to find a man wanted in connection with murder of Kevin Retman. It's been in the paper. This is quite a while ago, actually, 16th of July. I don't know if he's been found yet, but we're going to read it. A cash reward of £5,000 is still being offered to anyone who knows whereabouts a man linked to the murder of a talented chef. Crime Stoppers is offering the money for information which leads to arrest of a 40-year-old Keith McCarthy, who has been wanted for months in connection with murder in Dovercourt. Dovercourt, Harwich, Essex. So you know whereabouts. You've got the docks over that sort of area. Police believe Mr. McCarthy was driving a dark-coloured BMW, which deliberately hit Kevin Retman on his motorbike in Marine Parade on the afternoon of Wednesday, April the 15th. Despite the best efforts of pandemics to save Mr. Retman's life, the 29-year-old had died at the scene. Was it? What crossed your mind? You know, as a guy driving his BMW hit a motorbike. What crossed your mind? Under the influence of alcohol, or possibly not. Maybe he had a long shift, sleep deprivation, or was he on his mobile phone? Was he on his mobile phone, not looking at the road? It's what, you know, these things cross your mind, don't they? You mean, you're looking at suspects. Why did he hit that person on the motorbike? What was the reason? The BMW driver and passenger were seen fleeing the site of collision on foot by witness. A 79-year-old woman who happened to be walking past at the time, suffered multiple broken limbs and was taken to hospital for treatment. Or maybe another thing that crosses my mind, it could have been a drug dealer. Could have been a drug dealer. You don't know, do you? Innocent life. Innocent lives get taken every so often, and it's a shock to our system. Corinne Retman, Mick Doofy, Crime Stoppers Directors of Operations, said it appears that the driver of this dangerous driver, callous and reckless behaviour has resulted in a death and another person almost dying. It's important to our charity that continues our communities are kept safe, and this is why We are offering this reward to remove a potentially dangerous person from our streets. We are appealing to anybody with information on Mr. McCarthy's location to do the right thing and tell our charity what you know, 100% anonymously. What you tell us can make all the difference in keeping other people safe from harm and getting injustice. He added, it's important to remind people that assisting somebody wanting for questioning over a crime can lead to prosecution. Crime Stoppers has been taking crime information since our charity was formed over 30 years. Imagine this, just put yourself in perspective. I mean, my perspective, I'm very legalised. Put yourself in a perspective of a police inspector. If this guy got away with murder, it's only going to be a matter of days, months. He's going to cause another one because he thought, I've got away with it. No one's found me. This is why it's so good to get in connection with any murder. And if you know of any murderers and they're getting away with it, you need to let the authorities know. And my strong advice is, I'm not I'm not into any drug dealers either. There's vulnerable people out there. These drug dealers are pushing drugs on vulnerable people, causing more. They're not causing that person addicted to drugs any benefits. But, you're actually predicting harm on them. They're vulnerable. You're going to ruin and destroy their life. I.e., someone like myself, if there's a drug dealer do that to me, they're not helping me in any shape or form. It'd kill me because my doctor said I'm not allowed to be near any alcohol. And obviously, something like that would mix with my blood infection I already got and it'd kill me off. So people don't realise what they're doing to society. I'm not saying this is the same sort of matter, but we was on that awareness that he could have been a drug dealer. He could have been uninfluenced alcohol, or he could have been sleep deprivation. Anyway, moving on. Mr. McCarthy is described as being 5 foot 5 inches tall, and is said to have the links to Harwich, Hertfordshire, London, and Ireland. Following Mr. Retman's death, a 19-year-old man from Stanton Abbott in Hertfordshire was arrested on suspicion of murder and attempted murder. His bail ends on Friday. In April, a 46-year-old man and a 54-year-old man were both released under investigation. A 33-year-old woman from Waltham Cross in Hertfordshire, who was also arrested on suspicion of assisting the offender, was also released under investigation. It's always other things to the crime which, stem off from the root of the problem. Maybe a text message this girl sent, oh, he's going to be here at so-and-so. And I will try and entice him in with a bit of flirtatious movement and get him in, and then there you go. He's going to be come up this road, so and so. It's a lot of things you can look into, and this is exactly what I've done. That's a good police report. They chased it up. They probably found out. What they're called, the acquaintances of the crime, necessities. Recent views. Someone's asking recent views on lockdown restrictions. Um, the police shutting the pub down. I was just speaking about shutting the pub down an hour earlier at 10 o'clock. It's going to make no difference. It's going to make no difference. People I'm going to go home early, and they're still going to do their social gatherings around their friend's house, which means they give them another hour, less hour, for the pub to earn money, for the pub not to earn money, and they're still going to go back to their house gatherings and drink there and do whatever else they do. It's not, it ain't doing no one no favours. They should just shut pubs down, give them full pay. I know it's not good for the pub's business, but if they're in the pub now, they're going to come back to the pub when their kids, their nieces, their nephews, their cousins, in the long run, if they keep going down the pub. That's how I see it. It's a no-brainer. Shut the pubs. They're still going to do their social gatherings regardless. They go to the shop and buy alcohol if the pub is shut anyway. It's what people are people, aren't they? People, when they're given half an opportunity, they act like clowns. So, anyway, we're talking about it now because Johnson has just been live. Johnson has just been live. But Johnson's only talking about a curfew, so I'm going to talk a bit about what Johnson just said, and then we're going to get on to what I want to formation, the solution to my views on politics as well, which is important. It's important for presenter to know which way, what way politics he wants to tackle. We can look at people under mental health issues because it might be somewhat beneficial. Renman Christie, who resigned from the government last week over its latest Brexit bill, thanks the PM for his hard work. He has been asked about real concerns in a reduction of mental health care provision for those with severe issues during the COVID-19. The Tory MP asked the Prime Minister to look into its urgency, as the consequences could be terrible. Johnson says the government has been putting extra cash into mental health during the pandemic and was upping funding overall, but he promises to look into it. This is good news, isn't it, from the Prime Minister? Davey asked for apology for government incompetence. Will the government apologise for the gross incompetence over testing and over communications that have led to restriction on people's daily lives? Asked Liberal Democrat leader Ed Davey. What's mental health? No, I don't think people deserve mental health if they're drinking and taking narcotics because they're making their own mental health worse. You know, people go on mental health because they drink and take or smoke weed. They're making their mental health in a worse situation. They can't go, oh, I've got mental health, can't stop smoking weed. Well, stop smoking weed. Simple as that, isn't it? I mean, I had a bit of when I was younger, I had a drink problem. You know, two or three times a week, every week I was drinking. That's a drink problem. That's a binge problem. It can end up to a vital death. I had to stop it. Doctor said it can kill me because my blood circulation. I had to stop it, so I stopped. If the doctor goes to you, you got a mental health problem, and when you tell the doctor you got a mental health problem, I can't stop taking cocaine or smoke weed or drinking. The doctor can turn around, will stop. Your mental health problem will go away. And he goes on to ask how people who are on the brink of losing their jobs be supported. There's no apology as Johnson replies the plan to continue to keep the economy moving in a way the government has set out while suppressing the rate of infection and get the virus down. I mean, I've got some problem. I smoke cigarettes, so I've got imperfections that need perfecting. I'm not perfect. I smoke tobacco. Are Johnson's own MPs on side? Not many radio presenters or politicians will admit their flaws. They won't admit their flaws live on radio. They won't admit where they lack their integrity because they're lacking their integrity. They're showing a weakness. I'll show my weakness. It doesn't bother me. I'm not ashamed. I'm not a good singer. I like singing as well. But I've got flaws. Everyone has. Prime Minister spoken repeatedly during his statement about the need to balance the risk to people, health, and the impact of restrictions on the economy. That reflects wrangling that's been going on way at the very heart of the government. Watch closely the reaction from the Tory backbenchers to see whether the Prime Minister's own party thinks he's got it right. My friends just lost her nan. I see on Facebook. I didn't ask why, if it is due to old age or maybe COVID in hospital. You don't know. You don't know what's affecting these people. There's a lot of people losing their family members. All I know it's sad. It's a sad time. You've got to try not to worry about COVID-19. Keep your mind active. Keep your mind busy. Sitting there worrying about it's going to do you no favours. Hunt, we are not there yet. Former Tory leadership contenders. Jeremy Hunt says he understands the PM has taken the decisions with a heavy heart. But early decisive action now is the best way to avoid second lockdown later. All you got to remember, if you had no legs or arms, how'd you keep your mind occupied? You'd get well. I'd hope I'd have a radio where my mic would just sit in front of me, and someone can switch it on for me. I would have to have a carer that could switch it on for me. I'll still be able to motivate my mind. Imagine if you didn't have a voice, what would you do? I'd just do my artwork in silence. There's always something you can do. Nothing is nothing's impossible. Don't sit there struggling for COVID, is what I'm trying to say. Keep your mind active. But back to testing. He praises the capacity rise, but says we are not there yet. The chair of the Health Select Committee asked Johnson how he can reassure schools when it comes to lack of tests. Johnson says he is right to point the massive increase in testing and that the government is now prioritising teachers. He says the rates of infection of school pupils are much lower than the rest of the population. But I'm not going to hide it from him. The future I see our country and the key to defeating the virus is to massively expand testing. Who can work from home? Who can work from home? Boris Johnson, he asked people who are able to work from home to do so, changing the government's previous message that workers should be returning to offices. Nearly half of the UK working population are in manual, professional, in technical occupations that may be considered white collar, with jobs that are usually performed in an office and allow greater flexibility from home working. In contrast, the transportation and storage and accommodation and food services industries have only about 10% of people reporting ever working from home. These sectors have already been severely impacted by lockdown. Around a third of working adults work from home at times in weeks up to 13th of September. All of working adults didn't work from home and travelled to work. Blackford's call for furlough extension. Before I just move on to this, guys, I just want to also tell you about something else that you could do. Swimming pools, gyms are still open. Swimming pools are still open. What they're going to, if they're shut down during the 2 weeks that the kids are off school, maybe, perhaps, I don't know. Blackford call for furlough extension. Ian Blackford. Ian Blackford, leader of Scottish National Party in Westminster, is now asking for extension of the furlough scheme beyond the end of October. There's no direct answer from Boris Johnson, who says his objective is to keep business going as much as we can. So they want to keep the business going, guys. That's good news, isn't it? They're trying to keep business going. They're going to keep shops going, perhaps. It's clear what the choices are and what the guidance is. We continue to support these people and business who face challenges from the coronavirus. They're trying to keep the economic boost going, keep the economic boost moving, keep the economic people working. So, all you can do is be happy. Bear with me 2 seconds, lads. Lads. Just trying to. I've got a bit of technical issue. There we go. Sorted. That is on my Castbox FM. Sorry about that, ladies and gents. Gillian, what is your message to grandparents? Damn sure Cheryl Gillian says the Prime Minister has achieved balance and uh, proportional, proportionality in his measures. But the Tory MP says with 6 months time frame, what does he say to grandparents who want to live their lives before it's too late, as well as those seeking tests and concerned businesses? I've got to give it. That's quite a good. That's a good question to give it the Prime Minister. I mean, a lot of people criticise him because they can. They're sitting on the outside, but that's a nice, amicable question to ask the Prime Minister, isn't it? It doesn't matter who Prime Minister at this current time. It's happening all over the globe. All Prime Ministers getting the same messages. But this is a very, very significant question. Very intelligent, without abruptness or corruptedness or hatred toward Prime Minister, because it ain't his fault. Imagine if the Prime Minister shut. Imagine if the Prime Minister, for some reason, shut all supermarkets down. We had to go get our own allotments and get our own food. Go out killing our own meat. Let's go out killing our own meat in people's farms. But get your own allotment, growing your own vegetables. Still think you should be safe from COVID-19? Just think about it. You got insects. You got birds. You got, you go around your families, your mother and dad, they've got cats and dogs. They go and run around the fields, talk, mess about with other dogs. You're going to get COVID-19 in your house one way, some way or another. Let's be serious. Where'd you get the seeds from for for your allotment? Just think about the brighter picture, really. I mean, I've said this time and time again, about about things you're buying out of supermarkets anyway. You don't know where they're coming from. You got a new mobile phone device? Would you think twice about a new mobile phone device upgrading your phone? Would you think twice about it? You can get a new iPhone 12 free of charge for your O2 dividers. You wouldn't care. You go and get it. Where's your phone made? It's not made in England. How does it get it? No one really thinks outside the box. I don't know why. People put all these rational messages on social media about prime minister or the government or parliament sovereignty taking away freedom away and all that sort of stuff. Just think about the bigger picture. I mean, you're all business people. Oh, I want to get back to work. Yeah, think about the bigger picture. Where's our packaging come through for our letters for the door? You open that letter? Of course you are. You don't think, oh, I might get COVID-19. Johnson does not give a message to them, but promises MPs will have their say in full debate next week. It comes as a number of his own backbenchers have complained about a lack of involvement from Parliament in the decisions taken by the government over the outbreak. I mean, I'm kind of thankful. I'm thankful that our government are supporting our families. England are one of the nations where they help the government help us. They help us through bad times. My head's above water, just about. Like I'd literally just get through a month on with £50 a month to live on. I'm not moaning. I'm not moaning. I've managed to do it for the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. Live on £50 a month. I still live a lavish lifestyle. I look smart. I look clean. I look presentable. I'm not abruptive. I'm not angry. I deserve a better opportunity because I've got a lot to give. My artwork's a business to be up and running. My radio is a business to help the others thrive, thrive through compassion in this statement, in this bad situation that we're in. Johnson balanced and proportionate. Responding to Labour leader, Johnson says he is grateful for his support, although it seems to come and go. On his criticism of testing, the Prime Minister says the UK is testing more than every other country in Europe. He is absolutely right to draw attention to the heroic effort of local people in Leicester to drive the virus down, and that is what we hope to encourage. And he says the government will continue to put arms around the country when it comes to supporting business. Johnson adds, I hope we'll also say to everybody in this constituency and elsewhere that it is a balanced and proportionate response. Let me tell you one thing though. If I was a millionaire, do you think I'd bother in a relationship? Do you think I'd waste my time and integrity in a relationship? I've seen like the strain I've been through. My past. I don't bring it up, but you give someone everything. You give someone an inch, they take a mile. So if I don't know, say I had a quarter of a million in my bank, I was giving half that out to my partner. She's going to be lapping it up, showing off on my expense. I'm never breaking my back for another relationship in my life. Just giving you guys, a bit of advice, and ladies, if you like, if you're an alienated parent going through the troubles that I'm going through. I know the routes go down, but you get a message of me from my radio. I can talk you through the process. Trust me, it's long-winded. I'll take my hat off to you. Anyway, moving into politics. Politics. Let's keep off them sort of subjects. Positive. It's positive show, positive cast with positive people. Prominent positive people. Whitebread to cut 6,000 jobs as hotel demand slumps. Whitebread, which owns Premier Inn and Beefeater, has warned that 6,000 staff could lose their jobs. The company blamed the cuts on the slump in the hotel guest numbers since lockdown. Of course, yeah, I was thinking, yeah, absolutely. As soon as that come up, I thought, yeah, no one's going to be going in these holiday inns. No one's going to be going in hotels. No one's going to be going on holiday like as before. It comes back to water's back, doesn't it? It comes at the government's furlough scheme, which still pays 27,000 Whitebread staff It ends next month. Meanwhile, pub chain JD Wetherspoon was warned its 1,000 staff who work at the airport venues that almost half of them could lose their jobs because of a dramatic fall in travel and tourism. It must be the same in restaurants. The company told staff that up to 450 people working at pubs in Gatwick, Heathrow, Stansted, Birmingham, Edinburgh, and Glasgow airports could be made redundant. The decision is mainly as a result of the downturn in trade in these pubs, linked with large reduction in passengers numbers using the airports, said Wetherspoon's chief executive, John Huston, who added that no firm decision had been made. I mean, when you go into a restaurant now, it's hard to get service because there's only limited workers. And sometimes, like you come around lunchtime, you get the OAPs coming for lunch. You're going to get people from working in supermarkets want to go into these nearby restaurants for lunch or coffee shops, and they've got not enough staff at these certain times. Eat out to help out. Eat out to help out. The reduction in travellers and those sharing a meal out has also hurt Whitebread. It said hotel stays in August had halved and dinners numbers fell by more than a third. Those said it had been helped by the Eat Out scheme. The company could also be affected by the rules forcing restaurants to shut at 10 from Thursday. Hospitality venues will have to close earlier to help curb the spread of coronavirus. Added to this, Cabinet Officer Minister Michael Gove had. You know what? I just want to go back to back to that sentence. Listen to this. Look at the look at the broader aspect of the sentence. What I just said. Hospitality venues Hospitality venues will have to close earlier to help curb the spread of coronavirus. It's like them saying we're going to shut the pubs down an hour earlier to help stop the curb spread of coronavirus. It just doesn't. It don't add up, does it? That don't add up. We're going to shut down an hour early. Not in that sentence, but shutting down in a sentence an hour early of the pub to help curb the spread of coronavirus. Shutting down an hour early, you'd be like, if someone said that to you, and you want to stop this something from killing people, what would you say? What would you say? Realistically, what would you say? Are you off your head? Why don't you just shut the thing down in the first place? Shut the place down. It's a no-brainer, isn't it? Shut the place down. This is what gets me. It gets me. I don't know if it gets you up in your politic mind or the way you function, but we're gonna shut down an hour early to help curb the spread of coronavirus in the pub situation. Perhaps it wasn't said in that pub. It's obviously talking about hospitality venues now, but in the pub situation. Added to this, Cabinet Officer Minister Michael Gove has told people in England now work from home if they can. A move that trade body UK Hospitality said was effectively a lockdown for city centre bars and restaurants. You can imagine it in an NHS scenario. You got patients going in for lunch with their families. You got the NHS staff sitting down. They're trying to talk amongst one another. But the NHS staff are trying to really keep protected while they're working. I know a few people that work in NHS. So I know they've got their COVID masks on. They're making sure they wash their hands. They're making sure they're fit to work to save others' lives, which is very, very significant from an NHS worker. Very, very important that they look after themselves. That's why they're doing their job because they're good for the job. They're made for the job. This is a huge, huge blow to hospitality, and it will be potentially fatal for many businesses. It said. Whitebread said it's expected demand to remain lower cost for the business well into 2021 and possibly even 2022. Look at difficult decisions. Whitebread boss Alison Britton said the company was hoping to avoid compulsory redundancies. She said with demand for travel remaining subdued, we're now having to make some very, 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 very difficult decisions. And it is with great regret that today we're announcing our intention to enter into a consultation process that could result into up to 6,000 redundancies, and in the UK, of which it is hoped that a significant proportion can be achieved voluntarily. Around three-quarters of Whitebread's 35,000 staff are still paid, in part through the government's furlough scheme. The scheme, called officially the Coronavirus Job Retention Scheme (CJRS), was introduced in March. It paid 80% of the wages of workers placed on leave, up to a maximum of 2,500 a month. Since July, furloughed workers have been able to return to work part-time, with the government paying for the remaining hours not worked. A further campaign is brought in the beginning of this month, when employers were asked to pay 10% of wages of those on furlough, plus their national insurance and pension contributions. In October, the government will pay 6% of wages up to 1,875, with the employer's share of the bill will then go up to 20% of their wages. And the scheme will cease altogether at the end of the next month. Shortly before Whitebread's 45-day consultation period will be completed for workers put on notice of redundancy. The firm said it had taken a decision in the face of submitted demand. Nothing it would stop receiving help with staff wages at the end of next month. Whitebread said it had lost more than three-quarters of its sales in the first half of the year, when hotels and restaurants were forced to close before the virus. Sales in hotels were 78% lower in the first half of the year compared to 2019, while food and drink sales were down by 77%. Premier Inn owner has had one of the toughest first halves out there, said Hargreaves Lansdowne analyst Emily Stevens. She said the proposed job losses were a sign that coronavirus had changed Whitebread's world for good. Without full hotels, the group isn't profitable, so a lower and more flexible cost base is essential, she said. Short-lived boost. Since reopening, Whitebread said demand in the hotel rooms has been strong in tourist hotspots, but in London and the metropolitan areas has been less popular. But, Ms Stevens said, unfortunately this boost is likely to be short-lived and focused now to turn to business travel. We know city demand remains subdued, and with more and more businesses announcing permanent work from home plans, we wonder if the returns of business travellers is more if than when. The expected job losses, which account for around a fifth of Whitebread's workforce, follow cuts in the company's head office staff, which affected around 150 people. Whitebread is not the first hospitality business that has been forced to lay off staff because of the pandemic in June. The restaurant group, which owns Frankie and Benny's, announced plans to cut 3,000 workers, while upper crust owner SSP has said that up to 5,000 could be let go, and Pizza Express warned 1,100 people could lose their jobs. Last month, hotel group LGH, which manages 55 properties including some Crowne Plaza, Holiday Inn and Hallmark Hotels, said that around 1,500 staff were at risky redundancy by late morning trading. Shares in Whitebread had lost around 2% of their value. Hope you're enjoying the cast, ladies. Please share, subscribe if you're new listeners. Subscribe to Proclamation News and Gavins. I'm trying to make a difference. Trying to give a good nobleman. I'm a good nobleman to the radio presenting. I've got a good depiction of good views and good valuation to society. I know it's hard to make people tune in. It's hard to get your name noticed. It's hard to get your name become famous in the media. I did do Media Study in 1995. I haven't followed it through all the way through my career because I've done other things being an activist. I'm back where I started. I've been doing this radio presenting now for 2 years. I used to do podcasts in 1995, but then obviously being involved in football, other sports, it become like an activist. Theresa May cannot support government's Brexit bill. Former Prime Minister Theresa May has said she cannot support the government plan to override parts of the Brexit agreement with the EU. She told MPs the move, which breaks international law, would damage trust in the United Kingdom. The Internal Market Bill will be voted on in the Commons on Tuesday, having passed its first hurdle last week. Our last Prime Minister. Ministers say it contains vital safeguards to protect Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK. The bill is designed to enable goods and services to flow freely across England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland when UK leaves the EU single market and customs union on the 1st of January. Who's looking forward to leaving the EU single market? But it gives the government the power to change aspects of the EU withdrawal agreement and legally binding deal governing the terms of the UK's exit from the EU earlier this year. Ministers say this is a fail-safe mechanism in case the EU interprets the agreement, in particular the section on Northern Ireland, in an extreme and unreasonable way. The section, known as the Protocol, is designed to avoid a hard border on the island of Ireland, as well as Mrs May. The other four living former Prime Ministers, Sir John Major, Tony Blair, Gordon Brown and David Cameron, have spoken out against the bill. Labour is opposing it, and some Conservative MPs have raised concerns over its legal implications. Amid all this, Prime Minister Boris Johnson last week agreed to amend the bill so the Commons would get a vote before he could use the powers involved in breaking down international law. Tarnished, but Miss May, whose own withdrawal agreement with the EU was completely rejected by the Commons when she saw Prime Minister. She told MPs, frankly, my view is to the outside world. It makes no difference as to whether a decision to break the international law is taken by a minister or by this Parliament. It is still a decision to break international law. This can only weaken the UK in the eyes of the world. She added that, in the internal market bill were passed, over reputation as a country that sticks by its word will have been tarnished. The Conservative MP, before maiden it, added, the governments around the world had trust in the United Kingdom, asking where will that trust be in the future if they see a United Kingdom willing to break its word and break international law. Miss May also said there would be unfold damage to United Kingdom's reputation. Smooth operation, Northern Ireland Minister Robin Walker said the government still hoped to reach a trade agreement with the EU, he added. Through this bill, we are acting to uphold these priorities and deliver commitments we made in our election manifesto that we will provide unfettered access between Northern Ireland and Great Britain and maintain and strengthen the integrity and smooth operation of our internal market. Mr Walker also said there were harmful legal defaults in the interpretations of Northern Ireland's protocol. The consequences of this for Northern Ireland in that scenario would be very damaging, he told MPs. We cannot and we will not run that risk. Former Labour Shadow Cabinet Officer Minister Paul Bloomfield said giving MPs the power to decide whether to use measures in the bill. The Commons did not resolve the issue, which was the breach of international law. SP Minister's Deputy Leader Kirsten Oswald called the legislation a grubby power grab, which we cannot and will not support, and that sections of it hung like a badge of dishonour around the Prime Minister's term of office. All I know is about these different treaties, WTO and the EU. All I know is the EU tax bracket with the trading is higher than the WTO, the World Trading Organisation. That's all I know. It's about 600 pages long, so I haven't gone through every detail, and I won't remember every detail if I tried. But all I know is the trading policies higher with the EU. But there still is other businesses that want to trade through their trading with the EU. There's ways you can get around it, like a visa almost. There's ways you can get around it. You have to look into it if you're doing a big business, like a sales patch. You're selling, I don't know, groceries or whatever. Maybe some, if it could be even artwork, couldn't it? It could be artwork, could be anything, clothes, anything. WTO, look at all the clothes and different technology. World Trading Organization. Think about it. All the countries that are involved with WTO, World Trading Organization. You've got China, all them, all the Asian countries where all the electricals come from that we all need, and the food you can get, Caribbean food, all that sort of stuff. That's all WTO. The things that we want to trade with, the things that we need. I'm not saying Europe ain't got nothing because we have like BMW, we've got German cars and whatever. I think that's what it's going to come into them sort of category. That's what you've got to look at. That's the bigger the bigger aspect of how to look at it, I believe. The car business is never going to die at BMW. I can't see them not trading BMW because it's a famous car. It always will be. COVID in Scotland. Nicola Sturgeon prepares to announce new restrictions. Who's enjoying this cast today? I am, as you can see. You can tell by the stamina of the show. My stamina fluctuates for a good show and a bad show. I haven't got a good formation. I haven't tackled it great to start off with. I tackled it off the cuff, didn't I? My own initiative to start off with. That's why I made it such a great show. Nicola Sturgeon is preparing to outline new restrictions designed to limit the spread of coronavirus in Scotland. See, all different politics have different formations how to tackle politics. They could include curfews at pubs and restaurants and like tighter rules on household meetings. I mean, that's why we've got different ministers in different constituents because we'd have one prime minister for the whole world otherwise, wouldn't we? He'd make the rules up for everyone. It wouldn't work because we all live in different societies. Different sociological change makes different impacts to society. So we need one for different constituents. Boris Johnson's our prime minister, but we've got ministers, MPs below him in different constituents to tell you how they're because sociological change through crime, criminology, all kinds of things. The makeup of economics, all kinds of stuff. They have to have these different MPs in different places, and they can have the man in the know, the man that's been in the business for long, or the woman perhaps in this situation. The First Minister will address Hollywood on Tuesday afternoon, shortly after Prime Minister Boris Johnson outlined new measures in England. The two leaders and their counterparts in Wales and Northern Ireland have held talks over UK-wide approach. It comes as UK's COVID-19 alert level moved to 4, meaning the virus is high or rising exceptionally. New restrictions in England include pubs and restaurants being forced to close at 10 from Thursday. Little table service also required. People are again beginning to urge work from home where possible, with masks made mandatory in more places and the number of exemptions to the Rule 6 being reduced. Tougher penalties will also be imposed on people who break the rules. But Mr. Johnson stressed that this is the way in, no way a return to full lockdown with schools and businesses able to stay open in a COVID complaint way. However, the Prime Minister warned if all these actions fail, we reserve the right to use greater firepower with significantly greater restrictions. Downing Street confirmed that Mr Johnson had spoken on the phone to the First Minister of Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland ahead of his statement, with a COBRA meeting being held on Tuesday morning. They had all agreed that the ACT would unite approach as much as possible in days and weeks ahead. Miss Sturgeon will set out in Scotland measures to SMPs to the Scottish Parliament from 2:20 before making a televised statement at 8:05 on BBC One Scotland. It will follow a live broadcast by Mr Johnson as has been scheduled for 10 p.m. After daily briefing on Monday, Ms Sturgeon said additional lockdown restrictions would also almost certainly be put in place in Scotland. She said coronavirus is spreading in the country again and further and urgent action was needed to stop the increase. As she warned that it would lead to more cases, people in hospitals and deaths if it was left unchecked. She said the Scottish Government was prepared to introduce a package of additional measures, but would aim to avoid a full-scale lockdown such as the one imposed in March. On Monday, the number of cases On Monday, the number of cases in Scotland rose by 255, representing 6.3% of those newly tested, up from 5.4% on Sunday. Ms Sturgeon said the Scottish Government endorsed a warning of UK Chief Scientific Advisor Sir Patrick Vallance that new cases could rise daily by 50,000 by October. The First Minister has added, at the heart of this decision is simple truth. The longer we wait to introduce new measures, the longer these measures are likely to be in place. If we move sharply now to get the virus back under control, we can minimise the time we all spend under new restrictions. If we wait, it will take longer, potentially a lot longer, to come out of the other side. What is happening and when? At about 12:30, Mr Johnson told the House of Commons about the new COVID-19 restrictions for England. At about 2:20, Ms Sturgeon will make a statement to SMPs about new curbs in Scotland. The Prime Minister is to deliver a public address, which will broadcast on BBC about 8 p.m. Scotland First Minister to deliver a TV address at 8:05 p.m. on BBC One Scotland. Oh, I've got a bit of an achy back, ladies and gents. Bear with me. I'm sitting perfectly upright. My back's just not right back to the back of my board. I'm sitting comfortably on my bed. I was going to sit in the front. I wanted to change. I wanted to try and get this involved. I don't know if you can see that. That was the idea. That was purely the idea to see London Bridge, but getting a camera view wasn't easy you know, as I thought it'd be. Michael Gove. Work from home if you can, Michael Gove says. Oh, people in England should work from home if they can to reduce social mixing and slow spread of coronavirus, Michael Gove said. And plans to have spectators at sports fixtures would pause. The Cabinet Officer Minister told BBC Breakfast. It comes as pubs, bars and restaurants and other hospitality venues in England are told they must have a 10 p.m. close down from Thursday. Full details will be set out by Prime Minister in Parliament later. Boris Johnson met the First Minister of Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland and will address the nation in a live broadcast at 8 BST on Tuesday, as well as closing time for hospitality venues as expected to announce they will restrict by law to table service only. I'm not going to go back over this, guys. Just give you an idea. Work from home where necessary. Not going to bore you to this. Thank you all for coming through. Um, so on Monday, UK's COVID-19 alert has moved to level 4, meaning transmission is high risk, high or rising exceptionally. So just let you know, restrictions are going to be lifted, and Monday is going to be a difference. Monday is going to be a big difference. It's worth tuning into the politics near the end of the weekend. If you get bored of listening to politics every day, get into the Thursday, Friday politics. I'll give you more of an update. What's going to happen Monday? They start to implement the slight changes that are going to come into play, and then lockdown measures will come into play on Monday. It's almost like waiting to see your new starting 11 for next season for your favourite football team. That's why I like. That's how I look at politics. I enjoy it. We've got these situations like swine flu, COVID. How we're gonna tell the society? How we're gonna tackle the new way of the formation of politics? How's the society gonna react? You know, every day is a struggle in any formation of a job, isn't it? You got people above you. You got people above you in the NHS. Maybe you're a nurse. Then you got you're doing a I don't know, surgery on someone's leg. Then you got to talk to you're a nurse. You got to talk to a consultant. People above you. We're all acting in aid of dictations, aren't we? Of whatever you do in life. Ladies and gents, it's proclamation news and Gavins. It's the prodigious, the prominent professor. Thank you all for coming in. Shame I need to get more people coming in at once. Maybe I'm doing it the wrong time of day. Maybe a lot more people back to work and I haven't got more listeners. My cast box is always busy. I've got always I'm only very rarely under 10. Usually got like 20, 30 people listening. For that 1 hour, what a difference I made. You think if I was working sitting as a vice, how many people are getting a day? You couldn't do 20 people a day because people come in with a lot of problems. So this little me talking for that 1 hour, and it's probably helping people in a lot of ways. People helping people's mental health. They're sitting there, they want something interesting to listen to. I could help out a lot of people. Maybe I'm alienated parents. They want a guidance. They need something to do, or they just want to better themselves for what they are. What could they do? What could they do with themselves? I mean, I'm in university, as you guys know. Every day is a different knowledge, a different society I'm tackling. So I'll talk about Islamophobia. I'll talk about extremists. Talk about fascism. It's all my knowledge I'm picking up, my own integrity for myself. You know, I could talk about Cleopatra. I could talk about Charles Dickens. I could talk about the swimming reindeer. The swimming reindeer was in southwest. I could talk about anything, literally anything. Anything that I've studied, I can bring it to task. I'm not going to talk about Cleopatra, but it's all politics. It's all politics when you look into it. Everything in your life is politics. Everything you do in your life is politics. Everyone, I don't like politics. Well, what do you want to be when you're older? I want to be a nurse, or you want to be a doctor. It's all politics. You're helping society. You're helping a rural society that are coming through your doors with other problems, mental health problems. It's due to their sociological area where they lived, where they brought up. Politics in every single one, everyone's day of life. Religion, culture, it's all politics. I go into church, we don't like politics in here. It's because I'm educated in politics. I've got big, strong views on different things. People might think I could be fascist, but I'm not, because I could go to a Muslim church and absolutely respect it, just due for the fact that I know the history of the Muslim culture. They was here in 1760. They was here during the World War One. 2,500,000 here supporting the British nation against Germans. That's how I know. I know facts. I know facts through reading through school in 1995, and reading further knowledge later on in life. Broaden my horizon always. I don't need pen to paper. It's just knowledge on top of my head. I can tell you about Charles Dickens. I ain't got a book. I'm sitting back. I ain't got no phone in my hand. Charles Dickens about the Christmas Carol, the book of the Christmas Carol. Um, Ebenezer Scrooge, his mate Marley. Open the first page of the Christmas Carol. Ebenezer Scrooge's mate Marley. What was he? There was debt collectors, but in the start of the book, Marley's dead as a doornail. He's dead as door now. So the film, when you think about it, when you're a youngster, I mean, I know what the book's about. You open it up, the book's about ghosts and Ebenezer Scrooge not liking Christmas. No, it's not. That's not what the book's about. You got to think a bigger picture. When you read a book, any book, anything you read in politics, who's the writer? Why is the writer and the narrator writing that? Why is he writing that book? Why is he writing that story? Like Mary Wollstonecraft, she read a lot of stuff in the media about feminism, but she'd make it such a way. She's very, very cunning in her way, putting women down to try and better herself in their relationship, perhaps. Very, very cunning, making feel, like a man feel a bit more compassionate towards her. Oh, she's a lovely lady, but you know, vindictive tactics. Charles Dickens, anyway, yeah, he's writing the Christmas Carol about people, children, and families going for public austerity for Christmas. You know, you got to look deeper into the conversation. Very, lot deeper into the conversation when you read. Very, very important to understand and acknowledge your speaker. It's very, very important. Obviously, you guys are. That's why you listen in. You're good thinkers. I call you critical thinkers. Good listeners. Give me the time of day. Anyway, ladies and gents, have a wonderful afternoon. Tuesday the 22nd. Have a great afternoon, guys. Thank you so much, so much for giving me some time, some encouragement as well, guys. It's encouragement just while you're here. Sometimes I have little numbers and I'm thinking, these guys are sitting there. These guys are sitting there. They give me time of day. That's all that matters. And I hope you have a great day. I hope your family's safe. I know we can all sit here. You watch some stuff on. I'll be all probably sitting there. Is it conspiracy theory? Is it not? We don't know unless someone close by to us died. But even when a doctor said a nan or a dad, or maybe a youngster died of coronavirus, you're starting to think. You still would think in your head, is that really the tragic cause of death? They're just making this up. If he died of something else, someone just pulled the plug on his heart, didn't you? Because I never heard of COVID-19 before. How can you just come out with a new infection? Heart failure is heart failure to me. I mean, I'll preach COVID-19 because it's important and we preach it and practice it just in case. But heart failure is heart failure. Lung failure is lung failure. Brain a brain infection is a brain infection. Ear infection, ear infection. You know, that's how I see it. But we might tackle things different. Sport and science, two different ball games. Take care. One love. Speak soon. God bless. Make sure you do more for God than you did yesterday. Tomorrow I'm gonna do more for God than I did today. Always think that. Always think that. Some things I don't know. I'm not a massive Bible. I mean, people been doing their Bible and their church on a Sunday, interacting with the online thing. I can't do it. I can't do it with church. I can go to church and join in, but over the internet, I've done it a couple of times and I can't focus. I can watch it. I could sit here and watch something about law in a court for an hour. But church, I can't focus. Don't know why. Anyway, have a wonderful week, guys. Stay blessed, and thank you so much for coming in. Hope we get more listeners, more people come through, subscribe as well. God bless. Take care. One love. Speak soon.